Hi, welcome to Amy's Opinions. I know I took a lot of time off for the summer. We had a lot of things going on. For people who are just listening to this podcast, which I'm sure there's not many because this is a podcast I made for my children. I wanted to have some recordings of me having conversations like I would have with my children after I die, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. But my father died about 2 years ago this month, and I miss having these conversations with my dad. So some things have happened recently that made me say, what the fuck has society gone to? And I want to start this out by saying I don't normally watch news. I hear about it from other people, then I'll look it up online at trusted sources, like news channels or, I do my research. It's not just social media. But I stopped watching the news about 15 years ago because of the negativity. Just negativity. But what the heck has society gotten into? When did we let Satan start ruling our lives? Now, I'm not very religious. Yes, I believe in God. I believe in the devil. I believe in afterlife. I believe you go to heaven or hell. That's my personal belief. And this is Amy's opinions. This is not everyone's belief. These are my beliefs. These are my opinions. If you don't like them, well, you don't have to have them. They're my opinions. But I want to start off with what happened over the last month. So, school started back up and we had a transgender man to woman shoot into a Catholic parish at a Catholic school, killing children and injuring others. He blamed his mom because she didn't handle his transition right. And she worked at that parish when he was transitioning. Why? Why do we think this is a normal occurrence? We had another school shooting this week. You don't see that everywhere because it happens. When I was going through school, we didn't have school shootings. We had fights in the hallway, but we didn't have school shootings. We had fights after school, but we didn't have school shootings. So what has changed in society to make this normal? To make it so, it's another school shooting. We're not going to put it all over everywhere. People are tired of hearing about school shootings. Why? Why is that not acceptable in our society that we have so many? What have we done to put our children's lives in danger and no one cares except for the victims and the victims' families? When did this get normal? When did we make this normal? My children have been part of school shooting threats. Not being the threater, but being in a school that had active shooter threats. My children have been put into schoolrooms with an active shooter on campus or a person with a gun on campus running through the campus. My children have been put on buses and taken off campus because there was an active shooter, but they didn't know which campus they were going to. When did this become normal? When is it normal that we have to train our children and our teachers how to barricade themselves in a classroom if there's a school shooting? Why is that acceptable to society? What are the parents doing? The transgender one blamed his mom because he couldn't take accountability, or she, or however they want to define themselves. So we're just going to blame the mom now? We're not going to take accountability for our own actions. Look, dude, you already have a psych history. You were a dude that transitioned to a woman. When you have dementia, you're going to be wondering where your penis is. It's not necessarily healthy for these children to go through sex changes when they're still in puberty or before they hit puberty. That's not normal. I don't care if you've gone through it or if you're going through it. That's your body. You do you, boo. It depends on if you're a good person and you can handle what happens to your body and what happens to your psyche afterwards. But if you do it and then you go shoot up something because, hey, whatever, you're not normal. And why did we accept that? Now let's talk about the Ukrainian refugee, the woman who was on a bus in North Carolina. She got stabbed and no one offered her first aid. Why? No one offered her assistance. She died in a bus by herself with people looking on and filming it and putting it all over social media. If she was my child, I don't want to see that. I don't want to be reminded over and over with multiple shares that my child was injured, she was stabbed, she died, and no one stepped in to help. No one. The guy gets up behind her, stabs her, keeps on walking, and goes off. The woman in the aisle across from her doesn't offer to help. She turns her back on her. What the fuck? I can be, okay, I'm afraid he's going to turn on me. He's going to stab me. I'm just going to ignore it. But as soon as he's gone, I'm going to go offer first aid. I get that. I get that human fear of being in danger for yourself. But when that danger for yourself was over, you couldn't let her die with dignity. You had to post it. You had to film it. You had to show it everywhere, but you didn't offer help. When did her life become dispensable? We only get one human life. One. You don't get to live and continue to live and reboot. You get one life, and the way you live it is the type of person you are. Now, my opinions may not be popular. My opinions may be popular. I don't care. But let's talk about Charlie Kirk, who just died. Charlie Kirk was a politician who had a nonprofit organization to help other conservative teens. He was a Republican. He was a conservative. When I was told that he was shot, I didn't know who he was. Again, not big into politics, not big into religion. I'm just doing the best I can. He was shot on a gun-free campus that he was invited to as a speaker. He was a guest there. He wasn't there to cause trouble. He was there to give his opinions. The first person who said something about this, oh my God, I can't believe it. His wife and kids were there and he was killed in front of them. How horrible. How horrible. The second person said, well, good. He was an evil man. What the fuck? Someone just lost their father. They just lost their husband. They just lost their life, their son, their brother. They just lost a life. He's not going to see his children grow up, but he has a different political view than you, so you think it's okay to kill him? Since when did that become normal? When, as human society, we say, okay, you know what? I don't like the way you look. I'm going to kill you. And that's okay. That's acceptable. I don't like the way your ideas are. They don't agree with mine, so I'm going to kill you. And that's okay? What the fuck? So does that mean if I say my opinion, I'm going to lose my life because I have more conservative viewpoints than, say, my friends who are more liberal? Or my family who are more liberal? Am I not allowed to have my own opinion because I might lose my life? Fuck that. Do I have to worry? Do I have to worry about where our world's going for? Because it seems like Satan's walking among us. The devil is here and people are drinking his punch. I get told I'm racist because I'm white and I don't give someone who has a different skin tone what they want because I have to follow rules. So that's because I'm racist. Not because I have a job, not because I'm following the law, but because I'm white and I'm following the law. I get told I have no soul. I lived in a place where I was white and the local population felt the white people had no soul. They call you Hadley. That was in Hawaii. Why is that right? I didn't do anything to them. I was taking care of them. I was a nurse, but I wasn't good enough because I was white. So I can't experience racism because of my skin tone? Bullshit. When you sit there and you demand special privileges because of your skin tone, that's entitlement. When you sit there and you don't like someone because of their skin tone, that's racism. And yes, you can be racist against white people. I can't help it, my skin tone. And I wouldn't want to because we are created in God's image. When God made man, he created man in his image. And God's multifaceted. Multifaceted. Old Testament vengeful, New Testament forgiving. He sent his son down to earth to save us. He's multifaceted. He's creative. So does that mean you're gay? You're evil? No. Does that mean if you have the same skin tone as me, you're evil? No. Does that mean if you want to chop off your penis and become a woman, you're evil? Or vice versa and grow one? No. Does it mean you might have some psych issues? Potentially, but that's your body. It's how you live your life. It's not about how you change as a person physically. It's about your soul and who you are. You watch someone die and you don't offer first aid or help. You don't offer to protect them. You don't even hold their hand during their last moments. When they're on a bus and they're scared and they have no idea why the hell they just got stabbed. You're just as evil as the person who stabbed that woman. And when you die, guarantee you're not going up, you're going down. When you shoot innocent, vulnerable children who cannot defend themselves, you're evil. You are Satan's tool. And you shouldn't be walking amongst us. I'm sorry. When you kill a man in front of his family, in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, because he has different political viewpoints than you. And he was invited to speak on those viewpoints, but you didn't like him, so yeah, kill him? You're evil. You know, people say we shouldn't have the death penalty. People are very against the death penalty. And the reason why is because it's taking a human life, and human life is precious. And what if, God forbid, what if the person who was getting the death penalty was actually innocent? But what if they weren't? What if, like this man who stabbed this woman on the bus, we know who he is his life more precious than hers? He took her life. He was a 14-time convicted felon, and he took someone's life. They released him 14 times, and now he's killed someone. How is that right as society that we let these people and these predators out amongst people? Well, you know, our prison systems are overburdened. Well, why are they overburdened? What has happened? We don't have mental health care institutions as more because we have all these mental health issues, but they did away with that because, you know, it costs money. Okay, so now what's going on? It's not our job to fix everyone. It's not our job to be a clone and to have the same ideas as everyone. We are unique. We are individuals. You are allowed to have different opinions. You are allowed to have different viewpoints and still like someone. That is what is allowed. But what we are now allowing as a society is we are normalizing these acts of violence because someone has a different viewpoint. Oh, someone had a hard time transitioning from a boy to a girl, and so he's going to blame his mom and shoot the parish that she used to work at and kill innocent children. But it's not his fault. We're not going to say it's his fault because he said it was his mom's fault for not handling it right. Someone sat in front of me. I don't want them sitting there, so I'm going to stab them. They're going to die, and no one's going to help. Why is that normal? Why have we normalized this as a society? 24 years ago, we had terrorist attacks for the first time since World War II on U.S. soil. We had the planes fly into the Twin Towers in the Pentagon. Don't hear about the Pentagon very often, but yeah, they flew in, they tried to hit the Pentagon there. We had people lose their lives. We had a country come together. And after the country came together, what happened? People started blaming the president at the time because he wanted to get his facts right and do a directed strike at the people who were against the American people, the terrorist, and try to save innocent lives in the process instead of just going in and wiping out a whole culture. I was glad that President Bush did that. My husband was in the military. We had just joined the military. He had just gone the day before the attacks on the towers to his training for his job in the military. And I was grateful that we had leadership at the time, not just to start another world war, but do a directed attack against the individuals that created this. Now, if something like this happened, we wouldn't care. It's normal. I don't think society would pull together anymore. It's all about what's best for the individual, not what's best for the group. The individual can't have their own ideas. They can't have viewpoints that are different from the group's viewpoints, because if they do, they're scorned. They're not respected. They get killed. Look at Charlie Kirk. 2 little girls growing up without their dad because someone didn't like his viewpoints. Look at the woman on the bus. I don't know if she had children. I don't know if she was planning on having children, but she was someone's daughter. Someone's baby just got killed. Look at the school shootings. Why, as society, have we gone this way? I sit there and I think about it. Do we blame the media? Why? Why should we blame the media? It's the parents who control what their children watch. Do we blame video games? Again, why? They come with age-related warnings, and it's the parents who control what the kids play. Do we not have active parents anymore to teach their children right from wrong? Or have we just given up and said, you know what, I'm going to stick my head in the sand. I'm not going to stand up for what's right. I'm not going to do the right thing because I'm afraid of the pushback it's going to have on me. These are concerns I have. These are my opinions. I'm going to tell you right now, and my children will attest to this. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, you're bisexual, you're transgender, non-binary. I don't get that. Because binary means two and you're saying you're not two. That one I don't get. But I don't care. I don't care if you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat, if you're a socialist, if you're conservative, if you're a Republican. I don't care. I care about who you are as a person. Your beliefs make you unique. Your ideas make you unique. But it's what you do with them that make you a good person or a bad person. If you believe something so strongly that you can't allow other people to have opinions, you're no longer a good person. If you believe something so strongly you cannot render first aid to someone who's in need, you're no longer a good person. If you believe in your beliefs so strongly that you kill someone who has opposing beliefs, I'm sorry, but you deserve it. You deserve to die. You deserve to be arrested. You deserve to have a trial by your peers, and you deserve no longer to face this earth. So I know my first podcast is going to be coming back after vacation and summer and doing all this other stuff is going to be probably not well received. And honestly, these are my opinions. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like them. You're allowed to have your own opinions. But when someone dies and they ask for a moment of silence and all you hear is chants are no, 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 or someone dies and they say, oh, good, he's evil because his politics were evil, even though he died in front of his wife and children as an invited speaker for people who had political beliefs that aligned with his, that's evil. When a life is lost, life is precious. It's fleeting. And when someone takes that life, that is just the purest of evil. So my challenge to our society is to not tolerate this. Don't normalize this. Don't make this tolerable. Teach people right from wrong. Be good. Help others, not to the detriment of yourself. But if you see someone in need, someone who's hurt, and you can offer aid, give them aid. If you see someone who's dying, be there for them. A scary transition. If you have someone that has a different political view, listen to it. You might learn something. You might change your view, or you might not. You have someone that has a different color of skin than you. Who the fuck cares anymore? Seriously, who cares? They're still human. That should be all that matters. You have someone that has different sexual preferences than you do. Look, if you're not putting your preferences on me. I'm not gonna put mine on you. I don't care. Keep that in the bedroom. It depends on how you act as a human being, and how you treat other people. Why? Why are we letting all this evil run rampant in our world? So my challenge to you is to be better. Be a good human. Look out for one another. Don't make it all about you. Just do what's right. Thank you.